Hello, everyone out there in YouTube and Xland. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego, and I want to do a little something special here. I'm still reviewing Love Actually. Don't worry, those videos are going to come out. However, I had to make an exception right here, and I had to talk about this movie. Okay, I have to. All right, this movie affected me so much. Oh my fucking Godzilla. Oh my God, now I know most of you don't really care about Godzilla, so you're not going to watch this video. That's fine. But if you're interested in what I have to say about it, please continue. Okay, this movie blew me the fuck away. Completely blew me away. Okay, I took my son to go see it. It's funny, we were just watching Godzilla a week or so ago. Okay, I have a little boy, I want to try to introduce him to the stuff that I watched when I was a kid, and I watched Godzilla when I was a little boy, that kind of thing. So he knows what it was. We've seen the King Kong versus Godzilla movies, both of them, the one from the 60s and the new one, and that kind of thing, So he's familiar with it, and I kind of like reacquainted him with it. I knew I was going to watch this movie when I first heard about it because I just love Godzilla, It's something new, it's something different. Again, it's not a fucking superhero movie. It's not Marvel, okay? It's not Disney. It's not fucking Warner Brothers, okay? Because everything they're producing is bullshit, all right? And it's something I could take my son to go see. So I was like, okay, yeah, Giant Lizard, let's go see it. So I went in there expecting another version of like Shin Godzilla. That's another Japanese Godzilla movie that came out back in 2016. It was pretty good. I liked it a lot. A couple of nitpicks there. Obviously it was a sci-fi movie type thing. The human characters were there, but it's contrived. And there's one character in Shin Godzilla. For those of you who remember that, there's one girl. It's a girl who's always on her fucking laptop. She never actually looks at anyone in the movie. She never looks at another human being. She's always just like, she's on her laptop doing this and talking while she's doing this thing. And that takes place throughout the entire fucking movie. Okay, I just noticed that every single time they showed her, she was talking without looking at them, and she was on her laptop. Like there was something more important going on her computer screen. She never actually gets up and like talks to another human being. She was just always on her lap. And I remember that very clearly about Shin Godzilla. It kind of took me out of the movie a little bit. It was pretty exciting. Godzilla was evil again, attacking. That was kind of cool. But they gave him all sorts of incredible superpowers. He could shoot not just from his mouth, but he could shoot from the fins on his back, and he could shoot from his tail and destroyed everything. So what do? They come with some bullshit device to shoot him up with coagulant through his mouth to make him petrified. It was okay. It was okay. It's a good Godzilla movie. It really was, but it was more like sci-fi, and that was a Japanese movie. Okay, you have to read it. You have to read the English subtitles, and then of course we got the American Godzilla movies right now, where Godzilla's a superhero again, like he was in the 60s and 70s in Japan. He's just there he's not there to hurt anybody. He's just there to fight other monsters, to maintain balance. Okay, and we were watching that recently. The first one, 2014, Gareth Edwards Godzilla, and that one, dude, they had this fucking guy, this Japanese guy. I forgot his name, but all he did in the whole fucking movie, okay, was he did this. He's like, let them fight. That's all he fucking did throughout the entire fucking movie, beginning to end. That's all he fucking did. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That actor, the Asian guy. Okay, he played what the fuck was his name? Where the fuck the fucking scientist guy? Serizawa. I remember the character's name, Serizawa. I don't remember the actor's name. Okay, Ken Watanabe, I think his name was. Who gives a shit? Anyway, that's all he did during that movie. Again, Bryan Cranston was in that movie, but he got killed off like in the first 20 minutes. He was the best actor in the movie. So there was that Godzilla. Okay, the Godzilla that wasn't fucking a guy in a suit, that kind of thing. So it was okay, and of course they brought him back for King of the Monsters. All right, where he fights fucking King Ghidorah and Rodan and Mothra and all that. Now that was okay too, Give fucking Millie Bobby Brown a job because Stranger Things was a hit, so of course they had to put her in that movie. Okay, But once again, Godzilla's a superhero, and then you have King Kong versus Godzilla. I saw Kong Skull Island. That was okay, Loki and fucking Captain Marvel, where you see Tom Hiddleston's actually the stud in that movie. He's the ripped abs, chisel features guy. The Indiana Jones type, with a British accent, that kind of thing. I mean, it was contrived all the fucking way, but it was all right. They make fucking King Kong a hell of a lot bigger than he was originally. I mean, this King Kong could have fucking jumped over the Empire State Building. He'd have to fucking climb it, all right? And then, of course, they gave us King Kong Godzilla versus Kong, which was really damn good. I enjoyed it, okay? Some of it I didn't like too much as far as like the underwater, the whole civilization, that whole world underneath Planet Earth inside Planet Earth. That was like kind of bullshitty, you know. But it was pretty good. The fight was awesome between King Kong and Godzilla. That was incredible. I thought they did a really good job with that. Once again, Godzilla's a good guy. In the very beginning of that movie, he was a bad guy. Like, he was attacking that place in New Orleans for no reason, or in Florida for no reason. He was just attacking and killing all these people. And then you find out why later on. Okay, it wasn't really his fault. But, you know, the fight with King Kong was awesome, you know, because you got to remember, we invented the kaiju. Okay, King Kong was the first kaiju movie ever made, and it was American. Okay, that's Marion C. Cooper. Okay, he was a pilot with the Lafayette Escadrille. That's the volunteer American fighter pilots in World War I. He was a part of that. Okay. Marion Cooper, okay, and he created King Kong, all right. He directed it too. He's even in the fucking movie. He put himself in the fucking movie, the original 1936 movie, or was it 33? Who fucking knows? Anyway, yeah. So absolutely, you know, so we created the kaiju, and then of course, you know, Japan picked up the ball and did something better with it. They gave us Godzilla, the most famous kaiju. Okay, but yeah, it was us. It was an American thing all the way. Okay, so King Kong vs. Godzilla was a great fucking movie. I enjoyed it. Okay, but now we got this one. So I was expecting something good. You know, I wasn't expecting anything great. I was expecting maybe like a level of Shin Godzilla. You know, where okay, it's gonna be a little bit out there. Okay, because I grew up watching this shit, okay? Now, for those of you that are old enough like I am, okay, we grew in syndication. We grew up watching all sorts of bullshit, man. Johnny Sacco's Robot. Who fucking remembers that show? Johnny Sacco's Robot, okay? And I remember the black and white episodes, okay? This kid controls a giant robot. He's got the fucking, the Sphinx. He looks like a Sphinx, you know, from Egypt. But he's a robot, you know, and fights giant kaiju. And then, of course, then you got the GOAT, of course, Ultraman, you know, Ultraman. You remember that? Yeah, Ultraman. Yeah, remember that fucker? You know, I loved Ultraman, too. That was cool. You know, guy in a fucking bodysuit. Ultraman, you know, it's awesome. And then, of course, you got the Space Giants. Who remembers that? Remember the 3 rockets? remember the 3 rockets? Goldar? And Amico was a little boy. Amico, whatever the fuck his name was, who fucking knows? He had the whistle. He blows it 3 times. You get Goldar. So he can turn into. He was a transformer in the 70s. A transformer, yeah, in the early 70s. He transformed into a fucking rocket jet fighter. Like, why would an alien turn into a jet fighter that has a cockpit? That makes no fucking sense. Oh well, they're aliens. Goldar, who by the way sounded exactly like fucking Racer X from Speed Racer. Goldar sounded exactly like him. That's because the same voice actors, the same 3 voice actors they had on Speed Racer, they used for fucking Space Giants. So everyone sounded like Racer X or fucking Speed Racer. But anyway, the point is, I watched that show too. Okay, giant, you know, Goldar versus Rodak. You know, it's this big bat-shaped spaceship. You know, Rodak. Rodak was scary, man. And then of course, who was the other one they had? Spectre Man, yeah. Hey, you know what? I got every single episode of fucking Spectre Man, and you gotta love that song, Spectre Man. You know, hear a flash like a flame, faster than a plane, a mystery with the name. You got that gorilla guy going like he's ready to fucking fight. Yeah, I love Spectre Man and Dr. Gory and that fucking the evil Planet of the Apes guys. Yeah, okay, you know what I'm talking about. All right. Okay, well, if you made it this long, let me get to the point. The point is that I grew up watching this shit, all right? I love Godzilla. I even watched the fucking 70s cartoon when I was a little boy, the Saturday morning cartoon, yeah, up from the depths, 30 stories high, yeah, Godzilla, and Godzuki. Remember that shit? Oh, my God, I'm fucking old. I own every fucking episode of that, by the way. I do. I watch it with my son. Yeah, my little boy, we watched it together from the 70s. Yeah, remember the Calico? The Calico was the name of the fucking boat. You push the button, and fucking Godzilla shows up out of the water and fights the monsters, and no violence. And Godzuki's there with the little fucking kid. Anyway, who gives a shit, right? Anyway, the point is, I watched Godzilla. And that was Hanna-Barbera, man. Hanna-Barbera did that. But anyway, the point is, okay, I love Godzilla, okay, and then I watched the 1985 Raymond Burr, the original Godzilla from 1954, okay, obviously that didn't come to America until many years later, but I saw the American version, okay, Godzilla King of Monsters, the original one, that was in 1955, or, no, 56. Was it 50? I know the Godzilla was 54, so in America, it would have been 1950, I guess it was 56 when America released their version of that, okay? They cut it up and they put an American actor in there, okay, and they dubbed it all in English so that we could understand what they were saying, and they added scenes with Raymond Burr. Now, for those of you who don't know, Raymond Burr was Perry Mason. Like, my mom used to watch that show, so this is a legal drama the 1950s and 60s. Okay, very popular show. Raymond Burr played Perry Mason, the title character. Okay, he was this lawyer that never ever lost a case. Okay, but before that he played Steve Martin. Yeah, not the funny Steve Martin from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. No, not that one. He played a character named Steve Martin, a reporter from America who happened to be in fucking Japan when Godzilla attacks. He's reporting the whole story there. So he's our guy. Okay, he's our relation to the movie. He's the American that's there that witnesses Godzilla attacking. So he's us. Basically the American audience watching this movie, okay? He speaks in English and all that kind of shit. They filmed special scenes just for him to put an American in the fucking movie, okay? Which is a good idea, I think it was, okay? Because that way you could relate to it, okay? He's there when Godzilla trashes Tokyo, all right? And then they brought him back in 1985 when they made the first, like, official sequel to that movie. They made a lot of Godzilla movies in between, but the first official sequel to Godzilla 1955 or 1954 was this one, Godzilla 1985. That's what we called it here in America. And they brought back Raymond Burr. He's an old man. They brought him back. They brought him back to play Steve Martin again. They filmed some new scenes with him in it, okay, which I thought was pretty cool because I love that movie. That was my favorite Godzilla movie of all time. Was Godzilla 1985. It came out in theaters in 1985. Okay, I loved it, man. I was a guy in a suit, but it was 1985. Okay, I loved it. That's when I really fell in love with Godzilla. It was in 1985 when I saw that movie as a little boy. That got me interested in Godzilla. I started reading about Godzilla. I started trying to find the old movies. Okay, even the ones from the 70s, you know, I mean, I really got into Godzilla in 1985. That's really kind of what won me over. So I always had an eye out for Godzilla. And then I didn't really give a shit about Godzilla again until much later on. Like, obviously in the 90s, that piece of shit fucking American Godzilla movie where Godzilla fights fucking Ferris Bueller. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. They put all fucking sitcom. They got half the cast of the fucking Simpsons played the human characters in that fucking movie. That should tell you something about Godzilla. When you got fucking every goddamn fucking sitcom actor, okay, as playing all the human characters in that Godzilla movie. Okay, you got half of the cast of the fucking Simpsons was in that fucking movie. Okay? As human characters. Okay, and the main character was fucking Ferris Bueller. Was the main fucking hero fighting Godzilla. Okay? Yeah, it sucked. It was a piece of shit. All right, but yeah, so that didn't do me any favors as far as loving Godzilla. And then of course they came out with some other stuff. You know, Godzilla 2000. I saw that, but I was bored out of my mind. And then there's some direct-to-DVD stuff like Godzilla Final Wars. I love that one because it had all the other Godzillas in there. All the other kaijus were in there. Even the Godzilla from the 90s showed up in there, and the Japanese Godzilla killed that one real quick. Got rid of him. So I love Godzilla, and I was expecting something along those levels, something that was entertaining, but I knew it wasn't going to be good. Something safe. I could take my son to go see it. You know, that's all I was expecting when I saw Godzilla Minus One. That's all really I was expecting. Okay, because all the Godzilla movies, the good ones that I loved a lot. They were basically, you know, sci-fi. You know, I mean, the characters were very two-dimensional. You know, the science was very fucking, you know, not very plausible, but just enough where you could believe, okay, it could happen. You know, that kind of thing. So I was expecting more of that. And then when I saw Godzilla Minus One, oh my God, I was blown away. This is not your typical fucking kaiju movie at all. It is a kaiju movie, but it's so much more than that. I honestly got emotional for the first time in my life, okay, watching a Godzilla movie. I mean, the story was just incredible. Okay, I'm going to spoil it for you here. I'm sorry, but I need to talk about this because this is how good it fucking was, okay? You got this guy, okay, was it Shikishima? Shikishima, yeah, that's his name, okay? He's a kamikaze guy. He's a coward, and I was in the military myself, okay? So when he flies his plane to Odo Island, which is a reference to the original Godzilla movie, Odo Island, you know, he pretends that his plane is damaged, and that's why he couldn't fucking crash into a fucking American battleship. Because he's a kamikaze. That's his job. He shoots it until he runs out of bullets, and then his job is to fucking crash the plane into a fucking American ship to take them down. Okay, that's what the kamikaze. They were never really taught how to land. That was never explained how this guy knew how to land the fucking plane. Because all the documentaries I saw about kamikaze pilots, they were never really. They were kids. They were mostly like 16, 17 years old, and they were not taught how to fucking land the plane. They only taught how to take it off. Okay, but he knows how to land the plane. Go figure. All right, so and he's a coward. Okay, he's a coward. Okay, he did not crash his ship. In fact, he pretended that his plane was damaged so he could land. Okay, and the mechanics that are there on the island, they know this guy's full of shit, but they understand he's scared. He's scared to die. He doesn't want to die. He doesn't want to die. You know, and by this end, this is the end of the war. Okay, this is the end of it. Okay, the bomb's already been dropped. You know, the Japanese haven't surrendered yet, but they're about to surrender completely, unconditionally surrender to the United States. So, you know, the war, I mean, what good is it going to do now to fucking crash a battleship? Okay, to crash himself, to kill himself into an American battleship. What's it going to do now? It's not going to save Japan. Okay, so he kind of understands that, but he's guilty. He feels guilty that he had to bullshit his way, that he didn't die honorably the way all these other Japanese comrades, all these other kamikaze pilots did. Okay, and while he's there fucking convalescing and shit, you know, and feeling depressed, he gets attacked by a baby Godzilla, okay, who kills everybody there except for one mechanic. Okay, and he has an option where he can actually jump in his plane and use the 20 millimeter machine guns that he has to shoot at Godzilla while he's still relatively small, and he freezes. He can't do it. He's a coward, and because he doesn't shoot Godzilla, it probably wouldn't have worked, but at least he could have tried. Okay, but he can't bring himself to die doing that. So Godzilla ends up killing all the mechanics except for one. Okay, and of course he's left alive, and he has to deal with survivor's guilt. Okay, and he goes back to his home. You know, he goes back home, and you know, Japan is decimated. I mean, we really, it's not said in the movie, but you don't have to say, okay, and we know our history. We know goddamn well, okay, that it was America, United States of America, that decimated Japan. Okay, everyone knows what we did over there. Okay, you can say it was terrible, whatever the fuck. Hey, let me tell you something. For those of you that feel that what we did to Japan was fucking way beyond what they deserved, okay, way beyond what they deserved, okay, I want you to go fucking take a look at some pictures of Pearl Harbor on December 8th, 1941, okay, and don't fucking tell me they didn't fucking deserve it, all right? Yes, of course it was horrible what we did, okay, but it had to get done, okay? More lives would have been lost if we hadn't done it. I'm all about what Truman did was right, I'm sorry, but I agree. Okay, can you imagine what would have happened? Because the Japanese were not going to fucking give up. Can you imagine what would have happened? I'm a Marine, okay? If my Marines, if we had to fucking take each island by hand, can you imagine how many people would have fucking died? Okay, we couldn't fucking let that happen. We couldn't let that happen, okay? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, okay? And so we did what we had to do. We all saw Oppenheimer. We all know what fucking happened, okay? And you really get that sense. He comes home, his parents are dead, everyone's fucking dead, and he gets, you know, he ends up, you know, by circumstance, he's ended up with his girl and his baby, okay? That's not his, but he ends up having to take care of it. It's like his second chance, and you can see as they slowly start rebuilding their lives, because they lost. Japanese, they lost the war. They lost. Okay, as they start rebuilding their lives, all of a sudden it gets taken down again. Okay, as if losing World War II wasn't bad enough and getting nuked twice wasn't bad enough, and now Godzilla shows up. And that's why the title's called Godzilla Minus One, because here they are at zero. They've lost everything. And if that wasn't bad enough, they're about to lose even more because Godzilla just showed up. Okay, for political reasons, America can't get involved. They're too close to fucking Russia. Okay, Russia and America, even though we were the victors of the war, we didn't like each other. That's Cold War, it just started. Okay, and America couldn't be allowed to start shooting their weapons that close to Russia because that would have sparked a World War III. Okay, so America had to stay out of it. The Japanese government is decimated. They got no more ships anymore. They can't do anything. They had to unarm everything that they had, so they can't help their own people. So basically, it relies on the civilians have to do something about it. Okay, and I thought that was kind of an interesting thing. You know, when we first see Godzilla on the boat, okay, he's on a wooden boat, trying to defuse all these mines, and you see Godzilla there, and he's being chased. You know, you got this group of people which are very likable. The characters are so fucking likable, but they're there, and I'm totally seeing Jaws. Okay, the guy that made this movie definitely saw Jaws. Okay, Jaws, and Godzilla is the representation of hubris, okay? Godzilla in this movie, yes, he's the big giant lizard that's attacking and all that, but he represents the main character, Shikishima's fear. His fear, his cowardice, okay? Godzilla is his cowardice personified. While he's fighting Godzilla, he's fighting his own cowardice, his own regret, his survivor's guilt, his own regret, okay, about that he couldn't have done more, that he was too scared to have given it everything. Okay, and that's personified by Godzilla. Godzilla personifies a lot of things. He's a metaphor for Japan, for losing the war, dealing with the fact that they're losers, dealing with the fact that they sent so many of their own people to die, and they didn't win. You know, they lost everything. Japanese, you know, Godzilla represents all those things. You know, he represents the guilt. He represents the loss. Okay, Japan's loss of innocence. Okay, they got too big. They got too big-headed. They thought they could conquer the world. And they got slapped down pretty fucking hard, harder than any country's ever been slapped down in human history. And Godzilla represents all these things. Okay, he's the Moby Dick Okay, he's the fucking Jaws. He's Jaws from fucking the Steven Spielberg movie Jaws. Okay, now you think about that movie. What was Jaws? You got these three guys out there. You got the cop. Okay, Roy Scheider. He's the sheriff. Okay, he's a New York cop. Okay, where he sees violence all the fucking time. The reason he took this job in Amity Island was because nothing happens there. It's a resort town. There's no crime. Everyone's safe. It's a piece of shit, easy fucking job for him where he has to deal with all the bullshit that he has to deal with in New York, with all the violence that he has to deal with in New York. It's a safe little fucking town until the fucking shark shows up. So now he's got to fucking deal with this thing. Okay, and in a sense, it's like fate. It's like, yeah, you know what? God put you there. A guy who knows how to deal with violence. Okay, now you're gonna have to deal with a fucking animal that's eating your tourists. Okay, and he doesn't know how to fucking handle this. He didn't even fucking like the water. Okay, you see what I mean? And then you've got Richard Dreyfuss's character, Hooper. Okay, and he's the fucking oceanographer. Okay, he studies sea life. That's what he does. And now he's got to study this fucking thing. That's a hell of a lot bigger than he doesn't know shit about this fucking shark. It's the biggest shark he's ever fucking seen in his life. You know, now all that knowledge that he's accumulated through the years, he's got to put it to the test. He's gonna have to use this knowledge to deal with this fucking creature. This is the epitome of everything he devoted his life towards. Studying these fish, studying sharks. He's a shark expert now. Here's a fucking shark he's never seen before, and it's fucking dangerous. And it's coming for him. Yeah, talk about motivated. Talk about finding the meaning of your life right there. And then you got Quint, who's the fucking shark hunter. You know? That shark represents his survivor's guilt of the USS Indianapolis. How he survived that when so many people didn't. You know, it was like 1,200 people went down on that boat. Only 300 survived. And he was one of those 300. He spent a week floating in the water. You know, scared to death that he was going to be the next one to get eaten by a shark. You know? He survived it, and then he tells the whole story about that, like, I'll never wear a lifeboat again, you know, that kind of thing, you know? And then the shark gets him. The shark was waiting for him. He never got over it. You see? He was on borrowed time. He was on borrowed time. The shark did get him at the end. And when you see the shark about to eat him, when it bites into him, you see the blood coming out, he's screaming, you see the blood coming out of his mouth. He realizes at that moment, this is your time. You didn't escape. Okay, you had a little reprieve for a little while. You got away from me for a little while, but I came back for you. I'm not going to let you. You're going to go join your friends now. Okay? You thought you escaped me. You didn't escape me. I came back for you. You see what I mean? That was his hubris. That was what he was dealing with, his fear of the fucking shark. That's why he became a shark hunter, because he was scared to death of that fucking shark. And in the end, the shark got him. The shark got him. Okay? That's what's going on here. Godzilla represents his fear. Shakishima's fear. Okay, and oh my God, when you see it, it's. I have never seen Godzilla this fucking terrifying. Now, the original Godzilla movie from 1954, yes, he was a terrifying creature. He wasn't a good guy. He wasn't a superhero. He was a force of fucking nature. No personality. Okay, he's just there. He's like, you got to treat Godzilla like a fucking hurricane or tornado or an earthquake. Okay, it's not personal. It just is. Okay, that's what Godzilla is. He's not evil. He's just a creature. Okay, he's a force of nature. And that's what Godzilla is in the movie. He's fucking terrifying. You can't be any more mad at Godzilla as you would a tornado that destroyed your house. Okay, or an earthquake that fucking sunk in your whole fucking neighborhood. You know? That's what Godzilla is, and he's fucking terrifying. Oh my God. The theater I was in, the sound is so incredible. When the bombs go off, when the mines blow up, when the rockets go off, you can hear it. So fucking real. Okay, I was in the military. I know what it's like to hear live rounds go off. Okay, to hear explosions go off. Okay, this shit is deafening. And in this movie, it's deafening. When you're sitting in the theater, it's you can hear it. Like it's really fucking happening. Okay, Godzilla is fucking terrifying. He is fucking terrifying. I was clutching my seat. Okay, the way they filmed it, like to look up at God, like you're one of the bystanders. And it's like you're the one, the audience member is like running for your life from this fucking thing, this force of nature that's just destroying everything. Unfucking believable. Just when and if that wasn't bad enough, when he launches his atomic breath, oh my God, it's like shooting off another nuke. Okay, it's like shooting off another nuke. It blows up things up like a nuclear bomb would. There's a shot where he destroys Ginza City, where he's just like, where he's roaring as fuck, and you see the big fucking nuke explosion on the distance. Like he did that. Unfucking believable. How terrifying Godzilla. I've never seen Godzilla this terrifying. This guy was no joke. There's nothing funny about this Godzilla. He's not a fucking superhero. He's not a fucking, there's no sci-fi elements here. Okay, none of that fucking shit that you see in the other fucking movies. There's no fucking aliens in fucking polyester suits with sunglasses on. Okay, there's no fucking Japanese Matrix wannabes doing all these acrobatic fucking flips and fightings and shit. There's no other monsters for him to fight or fucking do a fucking double kick on. You know, it's just, he's just this giant force of fucking nature, and he's fucking scary as fuck. Terrifying. The fact this movie takes place in the late 1940s, where, you know, they would have had more of a chance with the technology that we have today in 2023. But this is like 1948. Okay, they don't have any of that shit. They're doing the best they can. Okay, the thing was terrifying, and I'm going to get really emotional here because there's a part of this movie that really got to me. And I want to share that with you. There's the scene where Godzilla attacks Ginza City. A lot of shit happens there. Watch the movie yourself. You don't believe it. But after that shot I just described, you see the nuclear explosion that Godzilla just made. Godzilla's roaring up to the heavens, you know. And Shakishima's there. He survived. His girlfriend has shoved him to. When was the last time you saw a woman save a man in a fucking movie? Okay, there's no woke shit. There's no feminism in this fucking movie. None of that fucking bullshit is in this movie. There's no fucking BLM or transphobic rights or any of that fucking shit in this fucking movie. Okay, the men act like men, the women act like women. Unfucking believable how that works out. Okay, this woman loves this guy. She shoves him into safety right before she gets blown away. Okay, she saved him. When was the last time you ever saw a woman save a man? See what I mean? You don't see that in American movies. This movie's not American. Hence, there's no woke shit in there. Okay? Anyway, and he looks around at the city that he was standing in, how it's just been destroyed. And he gets on his knees, and I'm sitting there watching this with my son, and he gets on his fucking, excuse me if I get choked up, he gets on his knees, and he just starts crying. He starts screaming. He's screaming, crying over this. There's so many fucking levels you can take this at. Okay, he just saw his girlfriend just fucking died in front of him. That's one thing. The war is over, but Japan is still getting destroyed. There's nothing he can do about it. Here he is trying to rebuild a life for himself. And all that just got taken away by this giant fucking lizard that he can't stop. That he could have stopped before, but he was too scared. And now his fear has cost him even more. You know, and that's none of that stuff. All that stuff is true. But that's not what got to me. That's not what got to me. During that scene, when he's screaming, and the rain starts coming, the black rain starts coming down, and my son asked me, he said, "Dad, why is the rain black?" I'm like, "Son, that's not rain." You see these documentaries and you read the books and all that shit and you watch the fucking movies. And what I saw wasn't fucking Godzilla anymore. What I saw was a Japanese man crying in terror because his country had just been fucking destroyed. Like, if you survived 9/11, if you survived, like, you want to know what it was like for those guys after we bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki? That's what it was like. It would look just like fucking that. And that's not a fucking movie. That was real. You know, the best movies are the ones that you can empathize with the characters. You know what they're going through. And when I saw that scene, it's like I could understand now what some guy in 1945 in Hiroshima must have gone through, what he must have felt like, you know, what it must have been like to see your whole fucking city destroyed. to everyone you know is dead. You know, that's what I saw. It had nothing to do with Godzilla. It was like real. And I think the director, the guy that made this movie, that's what he was trying to keep at the heart of it. At the heart of this whole fucking thing. This is the pain that Japan had to go through. This is what they had to experience. And they're the only country in the world that's ever had to experience that. Twice. So that's what got to me. That's like, oh my God, I wasn't seeing Godzilla anymore. I was seeing a guy crying about his fucking losing his country being fucking destroyed. And that's what moved me so fucking much. Man. Yeah, it really, really got to me. That really, really got to me. But, you know, the way they resolved it was pretty good. You know, I'm sorry I got emotional, but I mean, I needed to talk about it. I really did. Because I'm not hearing anybody talk about that in these reviews that I've been watching. So that's why I needed to talk about it, you know? And then I saw, you know, how they dealt with Godzilla was pretty original. You know, they just sank him. You know, they had a plan A. You know, we're going to sink him. We shoot bubbles at him, you know, boom, he'll sink. Okay, the pressure down there is so strong that eventually it's going to crush him to death. But what if that doesn't work? Okay, well then we'll shoot him, plan B, we'll shoot him straight back up. We'll use the flotation devices that we attach to him. We'll shoot him straight up. The depressurization will blow him up by the time he makes it to the surface. Okay? Well, that didn't work either. Okay? Well, plan C. Okay? Shikishima takes up a plane. He gets his old pilot to refurbish the plane so he can put a bomb in it. And he's going to fly this plane into fucking Godzilla's mouth and detonate the bomb. That should kill him. Okay, if all else fails, that's what he's going to do. Okay, he's going to be the kamikaze pilot. And this time he's going to give up his life. He's not going to chicken out like he did last time. Okay, because now he's got to raise this. He's got this little girl that he's been taking care of, you know. And all these things are going on. He's struggling with his PTSD, you know, all sorts of PTSD. Godzilla, the war, everything. Losing his girlfriend, you know, about to lose his family. He's about to lose his life willingly. To kill this beast so that his fucking daughter can, that he doesn't want to admit is his daughter can fucking have a future, you know, and maybe this mechanic that refers to, maybe the guy can forgive him for his cowardice that got all of his friends killed, you know? So like, this is his opportunity, you know, to do that. And he does it, you know? And that hit all the emotional beats. Definitely the best Godzilla movie I've ever seen in my life. It's not the best because obviously the first Godzilla movie in 1954, that's the best Godzilla movie ever made. Without that one, we wouldn't have this one. But you know, you can't help but look at that one. It's a guy in a suit. This was not a guy in a suit. This was like a force of fucking nature, and it's terrifying. Okay, the sound quality alone, when you see them shooting at this thing, when the tanks are shooting at him, when he's attacking the city, you know, and you've got like the worm's eye point of view looking at this thing. Oh my God, it is fucking terrifying. You know, when that thing is coming, you know, I mean, that's how you do Godzilla. I remember screaming that out loud in the theater, like telling myself, oh my God, this is how you do Godzilla. This is how you do Godzilla. You know, unfucking believable. Okay, the movie was practically flawless. There's a couple things I didn't like. There's a twist ending. I'm not going to ruin it here, but I saw that coming. Like, oh my God, it would have been better if that hadn't happened. If they had left it alone the way they set it up, okay, instead of that last minute save at the end for a certain character, then I would have been like, oh, okay, you know, that was kind of contrived. The typical stuff that you always see in a movie, in a Godzilla kaiju movie, you've got like the 3 or 4 main characters all standing shoulder to shoulder, and they're all looking at the same direction and talking about it at the same time, you know, which is standard for all the fucking kaiju movies, you know. So that stuff. But other than that, it was very good. These characters are pretty interesting. I liked them a lot. The way they fought Godzilla was pretty original. I'd never seen them fight Godzilla this way before. So I was interested to see if it would work. Like, okay, yeah. There's no fucking bullshit device that they invented that they pull out of their ass. And, oh, this oxygen destroyer that I just invented, this will just kill Godzilla. You know, none of that shit. They don't have to fucking inject him with coagulant through his mouth while he's passed out. None of that shit. They don't have to trick him to walk into a volcano or nothing like that. Okay, it was a pretty interesting idea, and the fact they had more than one plan was pretty fucking cool too. Okay, and another big thing about this movie, because there is a little bit political here, is they did it on themselves. These are all civilians. There was no military involved in this. This was all civilians. Okay, and they made a point of that. The Japanese government can't really do anything. The Americans are not going to get involved. Okay, so they have to do this themselves. Like, they got to save themselves. They got to vote on it. It's pretty fucking interesting. How they do that. And I thought that was very moving, very touching, very touching. You cared about these characters. I cared about all of them. Even the drama, the parts that had nothing to do with Godzilla. Okay, the drama was going on. Because I know what it's like to come home from a fucking war that nobody gave a shit about. Okay, I know what that's like. Just like my fucking dad knew what that was like. My dad comes home and they're fucking throwing shit at him at the fucking airport. They were throwing shit at him at the airport. Calling him a fucking baby killer and shit. And they do that to him too when he comes. They call him a fucking coward. He's a fucking coward for not dying for his country like he was supposed to. It's so fucking emotional, man, in so many fucking levels. So many fucking levels. This movie's incredible, man. I usually don't cry. Those of you who watch my reviews, I don't fucking cry. But god damn it, I got so emotional watching this movie. It was so fucking good. Best Godzilla movie I've ever seen. Highly recommend it. Go watch this fucking movie. Go watch it. It's a little bit violent. I mean, you see people getting eaten and stuff, okay? No blood, nothing like that, okay? But, I'm not so sure I should have brought my 7-year-old for that part, okay? It is in Japanese. You got to read the subtitles, okay? But it's very good. Very entertaining. Ladies, I know if you're probably not going to watch it, okay, because most women are not into movies like this, okay, but there is a heart in there. There's a lot of good stuff going on there. Dealing with survivor's guilt, dealing with forgiveness is a big fucking theme in there. Forgiving yourself, and having the courage to try to fucking build something. You got to have courage to rebuild your life, and you got to earn that courage. All these things are in there. Great fucking movie. Great. I cannot fucking praise it enough. Okay, I hope you all watch Godzilla Minus One. It's an incredible movie. I loved it. I actually watched it twice. I went to go see it twice. The last time I did that was Spider-Man No Way Home. Okay, I've not been this moved about a movie since fucking Top Gun Maverick. All right, that's how fucking good it was. Best movie I've seen all year, definitely. Best Godzilla movie I've ever seen as well. Okay. Not my favorite Godzilla movie I've ever seen, but best Godzilla movie I've ever seen. Absolutely. All right. Okay. So anyway, thank you for watching this long. I'm sorry about the crying and all that shit, but I couldn't help it. I got emotional. I couldn't help it. The movie was that fucking good that it had that effect on me. Okay. I got more emotional watching a fucking Godzilla movie than I have for any of these fucking chick flicks that I've been reviewing. All right. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this long, and I will see you soon. I'll continue reviewing Love Actually. All right. Thank you.